Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? I'm trying to make sure that my microphone here works, that everything's all lined up on the screen. Hey, anyway, Abram Gonzalez here, and I just wanted to share with you guys over the next, I don't know, like 30, maybe 40 minutes. I just want to keep this one super short, keep it value packed. I was actually doing a webinar, a workshop the other day, and I was actually teaching a bunch of coaches really how to elevate their business to the next level. And I was getting questions over and over, actually, on how to specifically how to position yourself as an authority, how to gain more credibility in your niche, because as we know, authority and credibility equal sales, especially if you're in an industry where it requires you to deliver a service. Right, so I actually have an interesting story to share with you guys, and then I want to get into four different areas today. I want to give you four different areas that you can focus on in order to build your own authority, your own credibility in your niche, no matter what it is. Right, so today I playfully named today, as it was inspired by our little puppy dog, our little French bulldog Zeus, how to become the pack leader in any niche. Make sales doing it, right? Because that's the thing. If people see you and respect you as an authority, it's like you can do anything. You can do anything with that, and you have a certain level of influence that you can't get anywhere else. So today was interesting for me because a lot of my today was actually taken up by when I woke up this morning. I went downstairs, let the dog out in the backyard, and I looked around and I was like, it's kind of chilly in here, man. Like, usually I'm okay without having any socks on. I can just walk down barefoot, walk out with the dog, let him do his business, come back inside. It's warm inside. But I didn't have that liberty today because as I looked at the thermostat, it was like 63.5 degrees inside the house. And I was like, holy crap. Like, it's colder than normal. Usually the thermostat kicks on before I wake up and walk downstairs. It's nice and good to go. But that wasn't the case today. Right? That wasn't the case today. So here's what happened. My day was occupied with, first of all, calling the energy company, Excel Energy, and having them come out and check and see if the gas was still working, because just a few months ago we had a gas outage and it was super cold in Colorado, and we got home from a trip and it's like we had a camp out. We had a camp out inside of our house because we had freaking sleeping bags upstairs in the master bedroom, sleeping in our bed with sleeping bags. It's like we were camping, right? Because the house got down like 40-something degrees because the gas went out. Well, I thought the gas went out again today, so I called Excel. They came out, and they couldn't find anything wrong. Right? The guy comes out and he's like, look, you guys have gas. Let me take a look at your heater, like see what's up. Maybe I can figure out what's going on. Maybe fuse got blown or something. So he looks around and he's like, well, look, I'm not an electrician, so I really can't help you here, but I think there's something up with the electrical connection to the unit. It's like, okay, cool. So I guess I better call property management. So I called the property management, got a hold of them. By the way, it's like 3 hours have gone by now between waiting for the Excel guy to figure out that wasn't the problem. And by the way, this is this is huge what I'm about to share with you in terms of authority. It's gonna make a lot of sense in terms of how we frame the rest of the content I want to share with you over the next half hour here. So we called a property management company, and they decide they're going to send somebody out. And so somebody actually shows up about an hour and a half, 2 hours later. I'm still freezing my ass off, trying to get work done, not happening, curled up in a blanket on the couch. So a guy shows up at my door, right? He parks his van outside. It's got the ladder on it. It's got the business logo on the side. He walks up. He's got his toolkit. He's got his uniform. He's like, hey, what's up? My name's Bob. I'm here to fix your problem. Hallelujah. Thank you. Bob is here, and I don't have to deal with, frosty toes anymore. And so Bob comes in and takes a look, and it's like, by the way, his name really was Bob. Like, it wasn't just some service technician I'm calling Bob because I think Bob is like the standard like plumber's name or whatever. No, his name was actually Bob. So Bob came down, brought all of his stuff in, checked things out. I let him go to work, and he's looking around, and he diagnoses the problem as being a problem with the electric. Right, which is similar to what the guy from Excel Energy said. And I said, okay, cool. Well, what do you need to do? He goes, I'll figure it out. I'll give you a holler if I need your help. Okay, cool. So he goes to work, and 20 minutes later, I'm like, boom! I hear the heat come on, and I'm like, sweet, Bob nailed it. He got it handled. And I was like, okay, cool. So he came upstairs, packed up all of his stuff, walked out the door, and I was like, sweet, we got our heat back. And no more than just a few minutes after Bob walked out the door, out to his truck, and drove away, the heat turned back off. I was like, damn, it's like still 65, 64 and a half degrees in the house. I can't do this. My dog is shaking in his bed. So I called him back, and I called this number back because I just assumed that was the number that was calling earlier about the technician and stuff. And she says, okay, I'll bring Bob back. Open the door. Somebody else comes up, and it's a different dude at the door. Got his car parked out front, his truck, got the ladder on top, got his uniform, got his toolkit, all this stuff. He's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, you're not Bob. I'm reading the thing off of his uniform. You're James. James. I'm so confused, James. Are you from the same company? And he's like, no. I was like, this is weird, right? I just called for Bob to come back, and James shows up, and it's a different company. I'm like, well, whatever. I don't know what the frick is going on right now. How about you come in and just fix my furnace? So he comes downstairs, takes a look at everything. As he's coming inside, Bob shows up again. Now I've got two service dudes in the house to fix my furnace. Interesting. Well, here's what happens. Bob still thinks it's the same thing. Thinks that he fixes it. Furnace kicks back on. He goes, oh, you know what? It must have just cycled on and off, and your thing's going to be fine. You're good to go. He walks out the house while the furnace is still going. James is still chilling downstairs. What happens next? The furnace stops going again. And you're like, what the hell is the point of this story? I'm there. We're like 1 minute away from the point of this story. James goes, you know what? Bob's full of shit. And I was like, whoa, James. Come on, dude. Bob's a nice guy. And he's like, yeah, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. And so here's what happened. James diagnoses the problem as something totally different. We walk upstairs, we look at a few different things, and he goes, do you have any spare AAA batteries? I said, yeah, I got some spare AAAs. He goes, can you go get those for me? I go, okay, cool. He opens up the thermostat, pops out the batteries. He goes, oh, these look like batteries from like the original people that put this thing in. We pop in the new batteries, boom. Furnace kicks back on, everything's good to go. And James just goes, look, there's a reason why your management company called me to show up today too. It's because those other guys have screwed up a few jobs that I've been coming in after, and I've been fixing them because they don't know what they're talking about. I was like, huh, that's interesting. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because I simply believed that Bob knew what he was talking about, even though he had no idea what he was talking about, even though he had good intentions for helping us with our problem and getting the heat back on. I saw his truck, I saw his uniform, I saw his toolkit. He spoke the lingo of somebody that knew what they were talking about, and I just bought it when he walked in the front door, right? My friends, that is what authority does for you, okay? Because authority positions you as the expert to come in and solve the problem. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought that Bob solved the problem. I would have thought he did a great job. And I thought that maybe it just was a mix-up on things had James not showed up, right? James actually proved to be the better expert. But what I'm trying to illustrate the point of here is that authority really is a matter of perspective and the way that people see you, right? So what I want to help you do today over the next 20 minutes, we got about 20 minutes left before I want to wrap this thing up, is I want to teach you how to position yourself so you have that kind of authority where people just believe what you have to say, right? And by the way, if you're going to hang out on this webinar or this little Google Hangout here, please use this information for good, okay? Do not use this information to go deceive people. Do not use this information to go, do stuff like that, okay? Use this information for good. Use this to your advantage to actually go out and help the people that deserve to be helped by whatever it is that you have to offer, right? Doesn't matter if you're, like an affiliate marketer, internet marketer, MLM person, you're a coach, or, you're selling web services. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? but you can use this information to help you build your business. I'm going to teach you how to do it in an ethical way. Okay, so I want to drop into some of these 4 different areas that you can actually use to engineer yourself as an authority. Okay, and that first one is one that we've already touched on a bit. Okay, that first one is around what I would call, and write this down. If you have a pad of paper, like, go ahead and write this down, because this is invaluable stuff, and this is super easy. This is super easy to do. And one of the things I will note is that authority and influence, they don't happen overnight, but you can sure as heck create them really, really fast, right? I've created myself as an authority in my niche, multiple niches, in just the last 1.5 years, right? One of the things I've done is created massive, massive results in my niche, right? Been able to do almost $250,000 in sales inside of our niche over the last 1.5 years. Right, and by the way, since I'm talking numbers, legality dictates that I should tell you, like, my results are not average, right? They're by no means average, but they're designed to share with you, like, what's possible, right? What's possible. And I'm teaching you a key component that has allowed me to create those results, okay? And allow me to leapfrog my results and create more. So this first thing here is really the status and the appearance. Why did I believe that Bob knew what he was talking about, even though it proved later that James, the second technician, was actually the one that knew his stuff? It's because Bob showed up in the uniform, right? Bob had the professional company truck with the logo on the side. He had his toolkit, right? He was ready to go. When he walked up to my front door, I knew that Bob was there to help me, and I automatically just said, you know what? Bob is the expert here. I trust him. Whatever his diagnosis is, I'm just gonna go with it, right? So imagine what that would do for your business if you were somebody like a coach, or you were somebody that was looking to mentor somebody in your business, something like that, right? Or you're a service provider. Maybe you're in real estate, or you're in law. Any of those things. If people perceive you as the authority, they're going to do business with you, right? Imagine a lawyer walking into your living room or into the office wearing flip-flops, a t-shirt, or like flip-flops, a tank top, and shorts, and a briefcase. You'd be like, it just doesn't make sense. And you'd automatically question, do I really trust this guy? Because they don't fit the mold of what a lawyer really looks like and what a professional really looks like, So one of those things is, like, I have lots of friends that make a ton of money in their industries, right? I actually have somebody that I've known for years, who when I met them for the first time, I would have never guessed that they've made millions of dollars, that they were able to launch a wine charm business. You know those little wine charms that go on the bottom of your wine glass so you can tell if it's yours or not? I know the person who invented those, right? And she made an absolute killing off of it. But when you met her in person, she's just wearing regular clothes, not driving a fancy car, she's not some pompous person, walking around telling people how things are. She's just very humble, right? So I would have never guessed that she was a millionaire. My point is, she didn't need to impress me, right? She didn't need to look the part. Now, if she walked into a room of investors looking to give her money for her company, you bet your ass she would dress up, right? That she would look the part. That she would put herself in a position in other people's eyes and in their perception of somebody that looks to be of authority, right? So, a couple takeaways for this section really quick, right? Your status and appearance are important, although they aren't everything, okay? But you can always engineer that by changing the way that you dress, or changing the way you cut your hair, right? Or changing the way that you speak or that you are, right? The coolest thing is, my friend, that one of the best ways to become an authority in the whole status and appearance area is to actually just be authentic and be yourself, right? It's like I'm not here showing up in a suit for you, right? I'm not the guy that has the corporate clean cut haircut or the shave, right? They told me that I needed to shave my face if I wanted to get a job in corporate America, and I said, screw that. Like, there's no way. I'm not cutting my hair. Like, why would I give that up? To live your dream. That's just not going to work for me, right? So Point is, status and appearance aren't everything, but if you can use them to your advantage, it certainly helps. So if you look at your industry, like I was talking with a lot of health coaches over the weekend, it's like, if you're going to be the health coach, you might want to be fit. Right? You might want to be fit and not some fat slob like trying to teach people like how to lose weight. If you're like, it doesn't work, right? You can't be a fat slob and sell weight loss, because people used to be like, that just does not make sense. So that's a really clear example of where status and appearance play in a huge, huge role. So use that stuff to your advantage, right? Think about how people are perceiving you based off of your appearance. And if what you're choosing is hurting your ability to create a successful business, you might consider tweaking things at least just a little bit, right? At least just a little bit. So next thing I want to talk about is a big one. And I think this is a huge piece that a lot of people struggle with. And it's one of those things where people are always looking for the shortcut. People want it fast. People want it now. We live like in this instant gratification kind of world, and it's just kind of silly because we look at everybody, and when we see their stories, we think that they're like some overnight success, right? We think that there's some overnight success, but we don't know the whole story behind the story. Right? People think that we joined our current company, Empower Network, and that we just like suddenly like blew up and like we're from, we came out of nowhere and just created results. And it's like, in a sense, yes, because the basic what the hell am I even talking about? The point is like it feels like we came out of nowhere because we weren't really showing up and playing big before now. Right? And we don't have previous experience in this industry before. We're just a bunch of, myself and my partner Nikki, who, hopefully she finishes up doing some of her cooking, and she's doing this special program right now, and it's kind of strict, right? And so she's doing her thing. Hopefully she can join us before we're done. And but anyway, we were both like burnt out life coaches at one point. We're in a different industry than we are now, which is sort of like the affiliate marketing, network marketing space, although we still have our roots in coaching. We teach people how to be successful on the internet with our system, and so being people that were life coaches, to other people it seems like we came out of nowhere, but we spent years working on and developing ourselves on the inside to be of greater value to people coming into our coaching, coming into our other programs. So when people think that we were like an overnight success and that we magically showed up and made almost $250,000 in a very short period of time, they don't know the rest of the story. They don't know that we struggled for years and lived in a 2-bedroom house that was 850 square feet, and that there was mold crawling up the walls, and that whenever the vents fired on and off, I would like have almost massive like allergy attacks. I couldn't breathe because it had been like 10 years since the ducts were cleaned. And the landlord wouldn't clean it, and so it was up to us to pay to clean it. But guess what? The money wasn't there to clean the air ducts, but it was there to pay for our food. And that was basically it, right? And we had to constantly make demands in order to change our reality. And one of those demands and one of those things that we did on a constant basis was work on ourselves, become more educated, work on our personal growth, our mindset, and change the way that we perceive the world. Okay, so education is the second big piece of creating authority. And I think it's probably the biggest piece, right? Because how am I able to get on a webinar like this with you, on a Google Hangout? How am I able to talk for 30 minutes with the confidence that I know what I'm talking about, that what I'm sharing is of importance and of value? Like, how does that happen? How does that happen? Right? Most people don't realize that we make stuff up on the fly. It just comes out. It's easy. You can ask me a question and I know the answer. The reason is because I've spent a lot of time developing myself, developing my education, getting good at my craft, and now I know what to talk about, right? There's a couple of daily habits that have allowed me to create the success that I've created. Okay, one of those things is now more than ever, I read every single day. Here's a quick one for you. I was involved in an organization a couple of years ago. Okay, actually more like a modality that was helping us in a lot of ways. Transform from the inside out, work on our limiting beliefs and releasing those. And what happened is there was a culture there that highly discouraged reading. Interesting, right? Interesting. You have to wonder if they are really interested in empowerment. I don't know. But regardless, the culture there was not about developing your mindset through reading. It was about going to their seminars and getting the information there. Now, not going to make anybody wrong or bad for saying that, but the point is, when I wasn't reading and I wasn't learning from different perspectives, I really found that I was cutting myself off from all these different possibilities that really exist in the world. I've read some incredible books recently. One of them that has changed my life dramatically is The Slight Edge. And for anybody building any sort of business, The Slight Edge is a must, right? The Slight Edge is a must. And I'll give you a takeaway from this before we move on to number 3. Something that I just learned from this book that I want to pass on to you is that the slight edge is always working. And what is the slight edge? The slight edge is simply those day-to-day actions, those seemingly small and insignificant things that over time compound and become some of your greatest transformations ever. And so the slight edge is always either working for you or against you. So, for example, if you choose to spend this time, right now you're spending time learning from somebody who's created some awesome results, right? You're putting your best foot forward to learn something you haven't learned before by being here tonight. Most people, right, are doing the opposite. They're in front of the television, you know, or getting beers at the local bar, watching NASCAR, or whatever, right? Whatever it is. And they're using the slight edge against themselves. Instead of being able to move their life forward, they're choosing a different choice that's actually not moving them forward, right? So you know that when you're not growing, it always feels like you're dying, right? If you're ever in a place of stagnation in your life, just ask yourself, am I really growing? You know, like if you're having a hard time, am I truly growing? Am I putting my best foot forward? Am I increasing my propensity to become successful and live the life of my dreams, yes or no? Chances are, if you're not stepping out of your comfort zone on a day-to-day basis, that's why you feel like crap. Just a quick tip there. But the slight edge changed my life, and I read it about 6 months ago, and I realized for a long time I've been using this concept, thankfully, for myself instead of against myself, because every day I'm taking daily action to put myself in a better position. So what are some of those daily actions that I do? Well, I'm reading, right? I'm getting plugged into hangouts and stuff like this with people that are more successful than me. You know, I'm listening to audios from people that are more successful than I am. Right? I was on a webinar earlier today learning about podcasting from somebody who does like $100,000 a month in podcasting. Like, I want to get into that stuff too. I mean, I got this freaking cool microphone, right? You know, I want to use it to the fullest ability, and I'm like, I think I could learn something from this guy. And so I attended that, and I worked on my education. There's always something every day, at least 30 minutes a day, but more like an hour, because I'm always reading and listening to something or watching something educational, working on myself. So when you add that up, it's like over 300 hours a year of study time, education, right? I've been doing this for years, and that's why I'm able to get up in front of an audience or get on a hangout like this and just speak freely and speak from my experience, because I know the material in and out, right? Because you know the difference of when you're in a classroom or you're in a presentation, when somebody doesn't know what they're talking about, you can see right through them because they haven't practiced the material enough to actually know it and absorb it into their being, right? So that's the first thing, or that's the second piece, right? Is that education piece. If you're not educated and you don't know your craft through in and throughout, and you're not always looking for ways to become more experienced in whatever it is that you're looking to offer people, you will always have a business that struggles, because people will intuitively know that you don't know your shit. People can just sense it. People have great bullshit detectors these days, and they will know if you're BSing them, okay? But guess what? The easy way around that is to just know your stuff. Know your stuff. Get around people that know more than you. Right, one of the most dangerous things is to be the smartest person in the room. Learned that from one of my mentors, right? You can't grow when you're the smartest person in the room. You know, so look at that. Look at what you're reading. Look at what you're listening to. Look at what you're watching, and look at who you're hanging out with. Those are the things that are going to change your level of education and help you become a better person, so you can serve more fully. Okay, that's the second thing. Third thing. Okay, is what I like to call positioning. Positioning. So look at the nature of this hangout right now, right? I'm able to get on here and share with you right? I'm able to share with you, you know, these principles that have helped me create myself as the pack leader in our niche, right? I'll tell you a quick little story about that in a minute about why we chose the whole pack leader thing. It's kind of a funny story. So positioning, it's like, look at this. I'm the one that has the microphone. You can write this down. The person that has the microphone is the one with the power, the one with the influence, the one with the authority, right? One of the fastest ways to grow yourself as an authority is to put on free stuff just like this in your niche to your target audiences on a consistent basis, right? On a consistent basis. You know, and I'll be honest, I've struggled with the consistency of this one before, right? I can only imagine what my business would look like now if I had really applied this every single week and done events like this every single week. I do some, but some of them are behind closed doors with our intimate masterminds and so on and so forth. So the public doesn't necessarily know that they're going on. But open ones like this to the rest of the public, I can do more of, and so can you. So can you. People automatically assume when they watch a video with you or they hop on a telecall with you that you're the authority and that you know better than they do, or you know something that they don't know, and that's the reason that they're showing up. The reason that they're showing up is because they know that you have something special, okay? They know that you have something special for them, and that's why they're there. That's why they're there. They automatically assume that you're the authority, and that's a great position to be in, right? That's a great position to be in, because if you're the one that's holding the microphone, everybody assumes that what you're saying is true, right? And they respect you more. It almost creates this like celebrity-like status, right? Whenever I go to events and stuff now, I don't even have to network with people, right? I don't have to go out and like meet everybody, right? That's what I had to do the first few events that I ever went to, right? Was I had to go actively meet people because nobody knew who we were. But now everybody knows who we are, right? And so I can go to an event and I can literally stand in the hallway and get caught up chatting with people for like 2.5 hours because they all know me. I'm the authority. They've been on my hangouts. They've been on my telecalls, right? They've been a part of our coaching and our training programs, right? They've bought products from us, all because I'm the one that has the microphone. So I don't have to network anymore. People come to me. That's one of the other huge benefits of being the authority, is that, you know, you don't have to prove yourself to anybody, right? Because they automatically give you that trust. They give you that credibility because you're the one that's taught them something, right? You want to become an authority really fast? Give value to people, something they can tangibly take out into the world and use to change their life, right? And use to change their life. So that's a huge one, my friend. Like, that's what I'm doing with you right now, right? You're getting these 4 steps from me. We're on step number 3 right now, to creating a massive amount of authority and creating yourself as a pack leader in your niche. You can literally take these things and go create a result with them, right? You can literally go position yourself as the one with the microphone and be the one that's teaching stuff. If you're not doing live events and you're not doing stuff where you get to speak to multiple people or lots of people at the same time, heck, even if it's just 2 people, you can do a telecall, and if there's 2 people listening, they have no idea it's just 2. They think there could be 1,000. There could be 100 on here. I don't know. They don't know that you might be having a one-on-one conversation, but you're positioned in a place where they respect you for what you're talking about, right? That's the third piece, is that positioning piece, right? You can engineer that just by literally doing stuff like this. I don't care if 1 person shows up, 2 people shows up. When I first started doing stuff like this, hardly anybody showed up. Now I can send out an email and people show up. It's a crazy thing, right? It's a beautiful thing. So the fourth and final thing is, this is a good one. This is a good one. Nobody listened to me as a coach. It was very hard for me to book clients early on, right? I would get a client every now and then. I struggled for a long time to get any sort of consistency. You know, people would come in and they would haggle me on the price of a session, right? I would never book like multiple sessions. I think the sun just went down. It's like kind of, let me see if I can, does that help? Help a little bit? Hold on a second. I'm gonna turn on a light here really quick. I don't really know if that made things any better, but anyway, whatever. We're here, right? We're here. So one of the things, that I struggled with was actually getting consistent stream of clients into my business. And the reason for that is because nobody saw me yet as that authority, right? And people could sense that I was struggling with money. And here I am trying to teach people how to build their business, right? I'm teaching people how to earn more money in their life. I'm teaching people how to create these amazing transformations, and yet I was struggling to create the transformations myself. And I think this is the number one place where people get hung up in creating themselves as an authority. It's because they literally don't have any. They don't have any experience, right? If you want to be the health coach and you want people to sign up for you and invest in you, first of all, you have to be willing to invest in yourself. Right? I see so many people try to just skirt the whole issue of, paying somebody else for their expertise or buying products. They're like, well, once I get the money, then I'll invest. It's so screwed up, so screwed up. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, nobody's going to invest in you. Okay? If you're not willing to invest in yourself, nobody's going to invest in you. But back to the point. If you haven't created the results and you're this health coach, if you're the fat slob health coach, why would anybody hire you? Why would anybody hire you? Right? Your own personal results speak greater than anything else, right? So what I had to do, and this is what happened to me, is I got kind of, disappointed by my coaching career at a certain point. It was only producing, $1,000, maybe $2,000 a month if I was lucky back in the day. And so I pursued something else. I pursued creating training programs and stuff that would help people, creating products. I went that direction instead of the personal one-to-one coaching kind of thing. And this is what happened. I started selling products online. I started creating, $5,000 a month in my business. I started creating $10,000 a month in my business. In 10 months of opening the doors of my new business, Nikki and I had generated over $150,000. Just 6 months later, we're almost crossing the $250,000 mark. And guess what happened? Even though I had taken coaching off of my website pages, like the ability to book coaching with me, the number of requests to get coaching went through the roof. They went through the roof. People wanted to get my business coaching because guess what they saw? They saw that I was speaking on stages in front of thousands of people, right? They saw that I was making really good money. They saw that my lifestyle changed, just by following me on social media. They saw that we weren't living in the 2-bedroom shitty house with mold crawling up the walls, right? They saw that we moved into a 3,000 square foot home in Boulder, Colorado. They saw that we went from, having our little Honda Element 4-cylinder between both Nikki and I sharing the same car to buying a brand new Lexus last year that cost more than my freaking college education, right? The first one, right? I have 2 college degrees and I don't use either of them. What do you know? And people saw that, and so they started hiring me for stuff left and right for that business coaching. Why? Because I have the experience now. They know that I've done it. Right? If you got the chance to get business coaching and mentoring from somebody like Donald Trump or one of the guys on Shark Tank, you would take it, right? You would take it because they're successful. They know what they're talking about. They don't have to prove anything. They can put a price on their coaching or their mentoring, and that's the price, right? Instead of people coming to me and asking me if I could give them a break on their coaching, here's a conversation I had with a client. This will really put things into perspective for you. They came to me and they asked me, Avram, I know you have something for me. What's it going to take to get a coaching session from you? What's it going to take to get a coaching session from you? This is about a year ago when our business just started really taking off, and I had never charged more than $100, $150 an hour for my coaching. And I was like, well, it's going to cost you $250 to do an hour with me. And this is on Facebook, and I could see that he read the message, and there was no response for a minute, and I was like, huh, this is interesting. Let's see what happens, right? Because I didn't need the money to coach him, but I also knew that I had something valuable for him, and I knew that if he paid me that, he would experience a transformation too, right? I don't know if you've noticed this, but if somebody pays like $5 or they get something for free, some people don't even show up. It's like crazy. It's like they devalue something that's incredible and they don't show up. When people pay good money for something, they show up, they're more present, they're less likely to complain. It's a different caliber of person. So I quoted this guy at $250 for a session. I'd never gone that high before. And he came back and he said, okay, I think I can do that. Would you be willing to get on the phone with me and talk about, like what I'll get out of the session or like whatever, right? And I was like, no, I will not get on the phone with you. And I said, let me ask you a question. Why did you contact me? And he goes, well, because I'm having this problem and I knew that you could help me solve it. And I said, okay, so for what reason would I need to get on the phone with you to convince you that you need this when you already told me that this is what you want? And he said, you're right. Where can I send you the money to PayPal? Different conversation, right? I recently upped my coaching prices not too long ago, and I put a post on Facebook, and I was like, hey, look, I'm offering coaching. It's not going to be cheap. And working with me isn't going to be easy because I'm going to kick your butt. All right, I'm gonna call you out on all your BS. I'm gonna give you everything I've got, and it's not going to be cheap. So don't bother contacting me if you just want it for free or you want to haggle me on my price. Contact me if you're willing to do whatever it takes. And I had 2 people contact me, and I was able to name my price and book a coaching session for more money than I'd ever imagined, right? And that's what's possible when you position yourself as an authority, right? When you have the experience and people know that you have the results, right? And even better yet, when you take your own results, you've had your own personal breakthrough. You become a product of the product. Whatever it is you're selling, if it's a product or a service, you use it yourself, you create the transformation, you can then transfer that to other people. You teach other people how to use it, and then they get their result. That's what's powerful, right? That's what's powerful. So Nikki and I rarely talk anymore about how, we've earned X, Y, and Z amount of money. We used to post all the time, hey, we had a $10,000 month, a $20,000 month, a $40,000 month, whatever. We talk about it now only when we talk to people that have never met us before, that they need to see that we are the authority and that we do know what we're talking about. We'll talk about it then. But when it comes to our marketing, what do? We talk about the people that we're working with that have had massive, massive breakthroughs, right? We talk about the people who have taken their coaching businesses to over $10,000 using our products, over $10,000 a month. We talk about the people that have earned an extra $40,000 in the last year on top of everything else that they're doing, right? We talk about the people who have overcome their low self-esteem by blogging every day. We talk about the people that have almost cured their depression by being able to speak more authentically about themselves and work on their personal development by partnering with us. We take their victories, and that becomes the proof and the authority that what we have works. So create your story first, and then take your story to create their story, right? And once you create their story, it becomes the inspiration for other people to see the value in what you have to offer, right? For them to jump in bed with you, right? And experience the transformation that you have for them, right? And then their story becomes their story, and then their story, and then on and on and on. Does that make sense? Right? So in wrapping things up here, we talked about 4 different things, right? 4 different ways to create yourself as the pack leader, right? The pack leader, which was inspired by our little French bulldog Zeus. He's about 4 months old now. I noticed that early on, in the first few weeks that we had him, he didn't fully respect what we had to say. He wasn't really listening fully to what we, had as best intentions for him, right? It's like, no, we don't want you running out into the street. No, we don't want you eating things off the ground that you're not supposed to eat, A dog requires some discipline in order to grow up healthy, happy, and sane. Okay. And so what I noticed was if we didn't actually exercise some of that authority, he no longer respected us. If we didn't tell him what to do, he no longer saw us as his pack leader. And what did he do? He automatically assumed that role. And he just did whatever he well damn pleases. And we all know that raising children, raising animals, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And so what happened was his entire behavior shifted when we stepped into the authority, right? Because guess what? The dog doesn't know that we've made a lot of money in our business, right? The dog doesn't know the difference between a suit and a tie and flip-flops and tank tops, right? The dog doesn't know that we've spoke on stages with thousands of people, right? The dog doesn't know the success stories that we've created. But guess what the dog does know? The dog recognizes the energy of when we walk into the room and boom, like we are the authority. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like when I got my black belt. The day I got my black belt, I saw myself as one sort of fighter, right? I had a certain level of skill sets. And then they tied the belt around me after my black belt test, right? And guess what happened? I had more confidence. I suddenly started fighting better. And I had an internal shift that went through everything that I did. Nothing physically changed. I didn't suddenly get bigger muscles, but I had this, I had the confidence, and I stepped into a new role of authority that I could then command in the way that I taught people, the way that I shared Taekwondo, and the way that I was, and the way that I was being and showing up in the world. So that, my friend, is the bonus icing on the cake, right? You can engineer your authority with those 4 different things, right? What I call them, your positioning, like your status and the way that you look, your education, your own personal experience and breakthroughs. You can engineer yourself as an authority through those things, but what it all boils down to is actually being the authority. Walking in and owning the room, knowing what you're talking about, and all those things that I went through today, you can use those to bolster and sort of manipulate yourself into becoming more confident in what it is that you're sharing. And when you do that, my friend, you be the authority. You walk into a room, you command everything with your presence, and it's just a certain type of energy that's recognizable in the room. It's palpable, you can feel it, and that's exactly how you be the authority. You can skip all the other stuff, and you can step into that now, and you'll become the authority. You'll become the pack leader faster than anything else you could ever do. Right? Just like I did with my dog, you can do the same in your niche, whatever it is that you're doing. If you're a coach, if you're selling health products, if you're helping people through their transformation, if you're an affiliate marketer, if you're a lawyer, if you're a real estate agent, if you're a small business owner, if you're a masseuse, whatever it is, people know confidence. They love to see it, and most people, they just don't have it. They're just not willing to be it. And when you step into that, and you can step into that now, everything will change around you. People will respond to you differently. People will do whatever it is that you tell them to do, right? So that's it. I just wanted to give you guys some awesome value tonight, teach you how to become more credible and more of an authority in your business, right? And I'm gonna actually show you guys really quick. I'm gonna take you to a blog post. Might as well wrap it up like this, where you can learn even more of some of the technical pieces. I actually wrote a blog about how to become an authority in any niche, and I think it's something that you'll enjoy. You'll get even more value out of it. It'll probably take you 10, maybe 15 minutes to read through it. I gotta change my my screen over here for you guys so I can show it to you, and you can go get this. Screen share, darn you. My computer's going a little bit slow, so pardon that. Here you go, guys. So this is my website, right? It's called haveitalltoday.com. Okay, haveitalltoday.com. So you can go there, haveitalltoday.com. It's actually the site that you're on right now, I believe. And you can scroll down the front page on the blog and go to this one. Right? It says the fastest way to gain authority in your niche and make sales. And I got some awesome stuff for you guys there. Brush up even more on this authority piece. Give you some really tangible things that you can do to engineer that, and continue your education from what I shared with you guys tonight. Right? So that's that. And really, I just want to invite you guys, if you want to, become a greater part of what it is that we're up to, and get closer to us, get more mentoring, six-figure mentoring. You can just click on the button that's below this video that's playing right now on this screen. There's a button that says get started. Get started now. And you can join our system for just $25. You get your own blog, and it'll help you. Become better at everything that you do, whether it's marketing or building a business on the internet, becoming more confident in whatever it is that you're doing. We can help you do that, and we invite you to come partner with us. Obviously, no pressure, just want to give you guys some value, and if you want to take it to the next level, you can also join us in doing that. Okay, my friends? So I appreciate you guys. Connect with me on Facebook if you haven't already, and that's it. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. Appreciate you guys, and hope you got something special out of this. Hit me up on Facebook, if you did, and let me know your comments. I don't always know if things went well, unless people tell me. It's like usually people they have a great breakthrough and they don't tell you for like 6 months. And you're like, oh wow, I didn't know that webinar created a breakthrough for you. So I'd love to hear about some of the things that you guys learned and got out of it tonight. You can find me on Facebook for that. So again, thanks guys. Avery Gonzalez. I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care, my friends. Bye for now.